Swarupasya Anusandhanam, contemplation. The word anu also means repeatedly you do. It's not just once you sit over a cup of tea and then look into that, but then you repeatedly do that as and when necessary, as much as necessary. Swarupanusandhana. And also the word anu, the prefix anu implies that anu means following. That the word anu means following also. Now question, following what? Following the teaching, following the pramana, in keeping with the pramana. And what is the pramana? Upanishad, Vedanta is the pramana. And for what? Pramana for what? For the Swarupa, for knowing one's Swarupa, as unfolded by the Upanishads, Vedanta, and as unfolded by the Guru. A sadhaka, a spiritual seeker, goes on meditating, contemplating on the truth, the fact unveiled by about oneself, about Swarupa. Swarupa, one's own form, true form. And what is the true form? We know Sarva Jagat Karanam Brahma. The truth of, the cause of the entire prapancha is Brahman, and you are that. Tat Tvam Asi. And Brahmana Hanyat Na Kinchit, as we saw in the Atma Bodha, other than Brahman there is nothing. The Brahman alone is the truth of all, the sum and substance of all. And it is that very same Brahman which is Purushartha, which is being sought, which is Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Anandam, Purnam, Kutastam, that is being sought. The abiding satisfaction, the abiding happiness, unconditional happiness, satisfaction, that is what being sought. And that happens to be the Atma, and that is the Purushartha. And therefore, a person is convinced about the need to contemplate, to dwell on, to think about this Swarupa repeatedly. That is the Swarupa Anusandhana. This is the idea expressed in a set of verses in a flowing language, in simple words. We have the text and also we have the transliteration. In the third sheet we have the meaning of each word. So instead of giving the meaning of each shloka, whoever compiled this has chosen to give the meaning of each word. Alphabetically given, every word is, the meaning is given. So you can refer to that sheet if you want to know the meaning of a particular word. The meanings given are typical. Sometimes we may take in additional meanings also here, whatever relevant meanings. The meanings given are typical. Okay. Remember that words have many meanings, and then whatever relevant meaning we take. Okay. This is about a note about the meaning. Okay. Tapo yajna danadi vishuddha buddhihi. Tapo yajna danadi vishuddha buddhihi. Virakto nripade pade tuccha buddhyam. Parityajya sarvam yadapnoti tattvam. Param brahma nityam tadevagamasmi. Again. Tapo yajna danadi vishuddha buddhihi. Tapo yajna danadi vishuddha buddhihi. Virakto nripade pade tuccha buddhyam. Virakto nripade pade tuccha buddhyam. Parityajya sarvam yadapnoti tattvam. Parityajya sarvam yadapnoti tadevahamasmi. The 8 verses, the last part of each of these verses conclude with this refrain: Param Brahma Nityam Tadevahamasmi. Param Brahma, that Brahman which is the highest, the noblest, and which is the truth. Param, truth, and which is the highest, noblest. And that is the untouched by all the kalpita entities, Namarupa entities, untouched by Namarupa, that is Param. Purushartha. Param means Purushartha, the highest, unaffected by all the Namarupa, the Param, the whole. And that is Brahma. Brahma is limitless, boundless, truth, the truth of all which is boundless. That which is the cause of all, but at the same time it is untouched by anything because it is boundless, like space, boundless. Param Brahma. And that is Nityam, which is a truth, which is abiding, eternal, not subject to time, right? Nityam, not conditioned by time, not limited by time. That means not subject to Janma, Marana, etc. Nityam. Tadeva aham asmi. That indeed, tad eva, that alone, aham asmi, I am. I am that Param Brahma alone, which is Nityam. This is the refrain in of each verse, of the 8 verses. And then that Param Brahma Tattvam and its glory, its Swarupa, and then what the seeker does in order to understand, know that Brahman. This the seeker's the preparation, the sadhana that the person undertakes. Okay, what all sadhanas the seeker does, and what is the attitude of the seeker. That's all said in the rest of the shlokas. Okay. Now the first verse says Tapo Yajna Danadibihi. Tapaha, Yajnam, Yajna and Dana. Tapo Yajna Danadibihi. By these, by tapas, by Yajna, by Danam. Tapaha, undertaking willfully, by one's own will, taking on certain austerities, certain penances, like not only bodily penances, but also more to do with the mind, more to do with oneself, the mastery of oneself, tapaha. All the virtues, or the major virtues, are listed as tapaha. The Mahanarayana Upanishad says tat satyam tapaha, sama is tapaha, and all that it says. So satyam is tapaha. That is, trying to practice truthfulness is itself is a tapaha. That is not a physical tapas, but then it is a manasam. Mentally one does this. So by taking to various sorts of tapas. Tapas also helps purify one. There are certain set of prayaschitta, remedial actions. Prayaschitta, atonement, acts of atonement for what was committed in ignorance. Some, even if they were, some of them may be incorrect, maybe adharma also. So, if a person has committed certain inappropriate actions in the past, knowingly or unknowingly, then in order to remove the ill effects of those acts, tapas is undertaken. The acts of atonement are undertaken. Like even suppose when I walk crossed and I stumble upon you, I with my leg I touch your person unwittingly, then I say I am sorry. The saying I am sorry is an expression of this atonement, making remedy for an inappropriate act. So tapas also cover the prayaschitta, acts of prayaschitta. Taking a dip in Ganga is prayaschitta. So that takes care of quite an amount of the papa that one has committed, a person might have committed now or in the past. That is the tapaha. What does this tapas do? Purifies. Tapaha purifies. Sometimes the person denies to oneself, right? Certain things. I deny myself certain things so that I can dwell, I can look at myself without that. Suppose I deny myself food. They say, no, Ekadashi Vratam, fasting on Ekadashi day. Fasting is not going hungry, okay? If I just go hungry, oh, I didn't have food, I don't take food, I miss food. That sort of bhava that will be there. I am denied of food. But then tapas is, I forego food, I go without eating. Like deliberately I do, and therefore I do not miss not eating. I miss eating. I don't miss eating. Then what do I do then? I focus on something which is something bigger, more than simply eating food. Right? More than that. What is that? In the Ekadashi, for example, they say, no, focus on meditation, japa, reciting the holy names, mantras, and also remaining meditation, studying, reading something like Ramayana, etc., or Bhagavad Gita, and observing silence, certain penances, certain observances one may follow. Also, one gets a time to leisure to look in oneself. I deny myself. I stay away from the routine running after things. Okay? I don't run after things that day. I spend the time with myself quietly, with the Lord, with myself. So I get an occasion to look at myself more and more objectively, observe myself, see myself in a greater light, in a more profound light. This is the tapaha. I get an occasion. So observing vratas such as Ekadashi Vrata, these are all tapaha. All the pilgrimages are tapaha only. Nowadays, our pilgrimages are in utmost comfort. We do pilgrimage. Even before you go to a pilgrimage place, a holy place, we book AC double room, okay, and then attached restaurant, then room service, and then more importantly 24-hour internet connection and then all that we do. We now undertake all the yatra, the pilgrimages in very as much as comfortable as possible we do. But then, of course, it's still not easy for many of us. It's still not easy. But then, the pilgrimage is taken in simplicity. That is the spirit of pilgrimage. You go in simplicity, as simple as possible. One old lady, very poor lady, was seen on a yatra, on a pilgrimage from Rishikesh to Gangotri, long ago. A poor lady, and then she had that pounded rice grain is there, the puffed rice is there, that alone, sattu or the rice grain as for food, that's all. She wouldn't take any help from monetary or anything from anybody else, just live on that one. And she would walk without even footwear, she would walk. And then one Swami asked her, "Hey, why are you taking this very more sufferable, very tough journey? Why don't you take help? I am going there. I can take you in my car and all that." She said, "Beta, यात्रे में कहा नहीं जाता, सहा जाता है." We don't talk about our difficulties in our pilgrimage. We don't mention this is there, this is not there, this much is not there, this is not okay. And we don't complain about the difficulties and discomforts. We just endure them. We just take upon ourselves. We just bear them. Take in our stride. कहा नहीं जाता, सहा जाता है, या सहा जाता है. We endure it. Take it in our stride. Tapas. We all have difficulties. We all have. But then, don't unnecessarily talk about the difficulty. I am in this difficulty, that difficulty, this difficulty. So and so is a problem, and so I am a problem. So and so is a problem. Try to overcome all the complaining self, the complainant or complainer in oneself. Try to invoke the bigger self in oneself, and then try to see the insignificance of these trifling things. That's all part of this tapaha. Okay. In the Viveka Chudamani, it says Sahanam Sarva Dukkhana. Right? Chinta Vilapa Rahitam. That is the most important condition. Sarva Dukkhanam Sahanam. Taking into all some difficulties. Taking into that. That is facing them, that's all. Not shying away from challenges. Just because something is challenging, I don't shy away from that. I face it. That's how it is. It comes, okay. And then, more importantly, Chinta Vilapa Rahitam. Without complaining. Okay. Not complaining within, this is difficult, this is not good, this is not enough, not adequate, it has to be different, and all that. No? That is defined as titiksha, sa titiksha nigadyate. In the Viveka Chudamani, we find this. So, tapaha includes this titiksha also. Develops. One is able to develop certain titiksha, tapaha. And then yajna. Yajna is all the offering to the causal forces, the total forces called devas. Okay, the sum total of the phenomena, we call them as devas. Like Indra is the representation of all energy, all the strength, and then all the power to see of all animals, of all insects, in the present, past, future, of all entities. The capacity to see is symbolized as Surya Devata, as the sun god. And then the capacity to think, feel, deliberate, the capacities of all the minds, that is represented as Chandra Devata, as the Soma Devata, as the Chandra. So, these Devatas are representations of the sum total of various phenomena. And they are not just gods hanging around, invisible, so that they can, at the earliest opportunity, give you a suffering, punish you. The gods are angry. Okay? Angry God. What will the angry God do? Even angry human being, we find it difficult to handle. Angry gods means what? Powerful man, powerful person got angry. Suffering, there will be suffering. It's not that gods are angry, but then here they are very responsible. They are the phenomena, various phenomena that we see, the order that we see, that is what is represented as various gods. Since there are innumerable phenomena, right, there are innumerable devatas, that's all. Right? Water, if we take, it's a great phenomena by itself. It's a great entity. It's a life giver. Without water, no life, we know. So, water is a phenomenon, and then wherever water is there, the effects of water is there. There is it is represented as Varuna Devata, Ampaha, Varuna Devata. So, like water, there are many other. Light is a phenomenon, sound is a phenomenon. Okay, there are so many of them. Innumerable phenomena are there. Therefore, innumerable representations, Devatas, and it's one God, one Ishvara, who is manifesting as all the phenomena. That is the vision of the Vedas. And therefore, they are not one among the many gods. No, like there are many gods, and then the supreme God is one among them. It's not that. One Ishvara manifests as all Devatas. So Ishvara, looked from the standpoint of water, is called Varuna. Ishvara, looked from the standpoint of light, power to see, that Parameshvara is called Sun God. So it is the very same Ishvara, looked from the standpoint of seeing and all that, color, light, that is called Surya Devata. One and the very same Parameshvara carries different names, look from different phenomena, different niyati. It's called by the various Devatas. And it's all interwoven, it's all connected. So we all live in connection. We are all connected to every phenomenon, every force in this prapancha, directly, indirectly, in a small way or in a big way, right? Like even I am connected to Akasha all the time. I am connected to the process of thinking very regularly. I am connected to the process of thinking, the phenomena of seeing whenever I open my eyes. So I am connected to that. Therefore, I live in connection, I don't live in isolation. I am not an isolated entity other than all these, but I am a connected entity all the time. I know, good. I don't know, still I am connected. Right? The connection doesn't go away just because I don't know or I don't appreciate it is still there. These are the Devatas. So I stand connected to the sum total all the time. And as an expression of this awareness, that's called yajna. Yajna is not just a ritual, as I mentioned in one day, that namaha, this saying salutation is an expression of an understanding that there is Ishvara in all. That's what is expressed by this simple act of namaste, saying that. So too, ritual yajna is not an act, meaningless activity which you don't understand. And some people even say, you waste a lot of material in yajna. You offer new sari, right? Silk sari worth about some 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 and whatnot. No, you just throw in the agni and you offer waste lot of ghee. Instead of wasting so much of milk in the fire, why don't you distribute to people who don't have all this? It's a good thing to distribute milk to all, whatever you can, it is good. But then this is different. This is not wasting milk, it is an offering, right? It is an offering. Some people say that you are wasting material, as if they are not wasting any material at all. As if they are not wasting money, they are not wasting time, they are not wasting their energy, they are not wasting material. All the time we waste. Okay? I read about this in the newspaper about this. There is one small island called Penang in Malaysia. Okay, it's a lot of tourists come to that island. It's a beautiful island, and Malaysia is you find so much of restaurants there, and cheap and good restaurants, very tasty food you get. All right, lot of tourists come. One of the main purpose of tourism there is to come and eat well, taste variety of food available, you eat. All right, it's so much so good, no problem. But then next to come, they waste a lot of food. Tourists waste a lot of food, And I'm surprised to find it one day, in Penang alone, imagine amount of food wasted. 300,000 kilos of food is just wasted, discarded, one day. Imagine, I was shocked, so much of food is wasted, one day. 300,000 kilos. It's not 1 kilo or 1 pound, no, it's 300,000 kilos, one day food is wasted. It's not consumed, wasted food. And then the article goes on to say, and then the ministers and all, they say, please don't waste food. It's very precious, it's life-giving, please don't waste food. The article, in the news article I read recently. So, what I say, don't we waste? We waste money, no? Waste money on drinks, waste money on betting, right? So, this is not a waste, but it's an offering. So, in that ritual, it's not merely a meaningless activity, and an activity which was performed in the past, but it is something you connect. You express your appreciation of the connection to the total, that is yajna. Okay, yajna. And then dana, acts of charity, sharing what one has, what one can offer to others. Sharing with others, those who do not have, those who are in need, what you have, what you can. Like even the relief activity, this is something which we could participate, we could give this dana. By this, tapo yajna danadibhi shuddha chittaha. This is the purpose of performing, doing all this. One becomes pure within. Shuddham chittam yasya, whose mind gets purified. This is the main purpose of performing tapaha, yajnam, dhanam, etc.